Greetings, my peeps, and welcome to the All Things Basketball Podcast with your boy GD. In this episode, I'll be doing my Week 17 through Week 19 recap, which is really like February recap. And I'll be covering LeBron breaking Kareem's record, also trade deadline talk, and the All-Star festivities. We'll talk all about that and more. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy the show. Okay, guys, so it's your boy GD back once again, and we're back to doing the recaps. I know for the month of February, I did player spotlights on Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Oscar Robertson, Coach John Thompson, and Maya Moore Irons. Those episodes you can find on the website and on all platforms. They were good series. I really enjoyed them. I enjoyed doing the research and finding out these interesting tidbits about all those players. And the most important thing, the correlation between them all, social justice. All of them were big on social justice. So it was great to be able to go through those players. So definitely, again, they're all posted. So now we can get back to the business of doing the recaps. This is a recap of week 17 through 19, but I kind of say it's pretty much a February recap for the most part. So let's get into it. It's about 8 stories I want to cover. Try and cover it as quickly as possible. We'll see how that goes. So anyhow, so let's get into it. Top story for the month of February would be LeBron James breaking Kareem's all-time scoring record. He did that on February 7th of last month, and he did it against the Oklahoma City Thunder. So there's good news and bad news with LeBron. We'll cover the good news first. So he does it on a step-back jumper late in the third quarter, actually about 10.9 seconds left in the quarter to break Kareem's record. So they stopped the game to honor him and so forth. Of course, his wife Savannah was there, his mom Gloria, the children, all the children were there. Bronny, Bryce, and Zuri was in attendance. So it was of course a big deal, because this is like the pristine record in the NBA. So, and a record that stood for about 39 years until LeBron broke it. So, and then of course the commissioner had his statement, and of course he was part of the proceedings. This is what he said. Congratulations to LeBron on breaking one of the most hollowed records in all of sports by becoming the NBA's all-time scoring leader. It's a towering achievement that speaks to his sustained excellence over 20 years in the league. And quite amazingly, LeBron continues to play at an elite level, and his basketball history is still being written. So definitely kudos to LeBron for breaking this record. Of course, Kareem held it for pretty much half his life. So you're talking about something that was near and dear to him, to have it broken. I'm sure, Kareem feels slightly a little ways about it. But to have it broken by LeBron, I'm sure in his mind, there's probably not a better candidate to do it but LeBron. They've had their little verbal bouts here and there, but in the end, Kareem understands that LeBron, his place in the league, his place in league history, and what he does off the court, definitely something Kareem admires as one who's, speaking out on many issues. LeBron does likewise, so there's a mutual respect there. Let's make no mistake about it. So, and it was great for Kareem to be in attendance for LeBron breaking the record. So that's the good news. The bad news, LeBron is out for 3 weeks. He suffers a foot injury, so that's going to put him out of commission he'll be reevaluated in 3 weeks. So with that said, the Lakers are really on the brink now. Now guys are going to have to step up. Anthony Davis and the new additions, which I'll talk about in a minute. Really the pressure's on Darvin Ham to coach up this bunch until LeBron returns. That's if he returns, so we'll see what happens with that. So a bit of good news and bad news for LeBron. But in the end, LeBron, the all-time scoring leader in the NBA history. Will that be broken? I'll never say never, but with the advent of the three-point shot, hey, why not? We're seeing a lot of other things happening in terms of scoring, so it'll have to be somebody who's plays for a long time, pretty much injury-free, load management-free, so we'll see what happens there, but is it unbreakable? I don't think I could say that off the top of my head. So anyhow, so that is the first bit of news in the recap. Second, trade deadline moves. All the moves that took place. We'll talk about a few of them, of course. The biggest one, obviously, Kevin Durant and T.J. Warren leaving the Nets, going to the Phoenix Suns in exchange for Mikal Bridges, Cameron Johnson, Jay Crowder, who ends up getting rerouted. He gets rerouted to Milwaukee, actually. So, and then also 4 first-round picks, and then a pick swap in 2028 between the two teams. So let us pour the dirt on the once hallowed Brooklyn Nets dynasty that was supposed to be with Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving. I said it before, I'll say it a million times, I'll say it from the rooftops. I knew that experiment would not work. You had two guys who were not leaders, not really alphas per se. They followed the beat of their own drum. So to get them to galvanize the guys behind them wasn't going to happen. And then you had the brief moment where James Harden joined the fray, and you had this threesome there, this big three, and it didn't come to fruition. I think they only played like 11 games together. So, so big time failure in Brooklyn. If this were the Knicks franchise, they would be getting raked over the coals. But since it's the secondary New York team, they get a pass. So that's the way things are. But anyhow, so with that said, KD, he joins the ranks of joins up with Devin Booker, Chris Paul, DeAndre Ayton, and you got a coach over there, Monty Williams. So you got the foundation in place. Kevin Durant doesn't have to go there. He doesn't have to be a leader. He just has to be a guy, an important guy nonetheless, but he doesn't have to lead anybody and so forth. You got a coach in Monty Williams who's a leader of men. You got Chris Paul, who's a floor general extraordinaire. So, yeah, so everything's in place for Kevin Durant to succeed. Will he succeed? On paper, you could say that, sure, but the game's got to be played, so the West is wide open, very wide open in the West. So, and if Denver gets the home court advantage throughout those Western Conference playoffs, they're going to be a problem. because I don't think people take into account that Denver air. That's really a difference, guys. So, can Phoenix go into a series where they aren't the home favorite and where they don't have home court advantage and win that series? Possible. Very possible. Very much possible. So, yeah, so that's the deal with that. Oh, also, by the way, the Suns also acquired Darius Bazley from OK City in exchange for Dario Saric. So they got some firepower there. You know, they lost some forwards. They brought in, obviously, a top 20 player in Kevin Durant, all-time player. And you got TJ Warren when he's right. He's a very good piece. Darius Bazley, a very underrated piece who could certainly help if something were to happen with Durant. He'll be a forward you can plug in, play. So, yeah, so the Suns seem like they're going for it. So we'll see what happens. And then we have the LA Lakers. LA Lakers make a 3-way deal. They finally deal Russell Westbrook along with Juan Toscano Anderson, Damian Jones. That first round pick they were holding on tightly to, 2027, is top 4 protected, by the way. That goes to Utah. Nikhil Alexander-Walker, Mike Conley, and 3 second-round picks go to Minnesota, to the Timberwolves. And then the Lakers, they receive Malik Beasley, D'Angelo Russell, and Jared Vanderbilt going to the LA Lakers. So, unfortunately, right now, D'Angelo Russell, he's out with an ankle sprain, so he's going to miss some time. So the Lakers are on the clock, guys. They're on the clock. I mentioned the LeBron injury, so you're going to need guys like Malik Beasley to step up. Jared Vanderbilt, he's looked good so far. Also, of course, you need Anthony Davis healthy and ready to go. Dennis Schroeder. You hardly hear any talk now about Rui Hachimura. Remember, he came over from the Wizards. So, yeah, so the Lakers going to have to hold the fort until LeBron gets back, till D'Angelo Russell gets right. But they're under pressure, that's for sure. So we'll see what happens there. Oh, by the way, they also acquired Mo Bamba. They had to deal Patrick Beverley. So they deal away 2 of their point guards there, Russell Westbrook and Patrick Beverley. So, and let me just say this about Russell Westbrook. No, let me hold off first. When I start to talk about the buyout people. So that's another deal there. Their in-town rivals, the LA Clippers, they load up as well. They get Bones Hyland, Eric Gordon, along with 3 second-round picks. They get also Mason Plumlee, and they also get Russell Westbrook via the buyout market because Utah buys him out, and then he goes to the Clippers. So, and in order to get Bones Hyland, it took a 3-way deal, I believe, to get him. Memphis acquires Luke Kennard, and then Houston got John Wall and Danny Green, who they ended up buying out. So John Wall goes back to Houston. Remember, he went on that podcast and blasted the Houston organization and a few of their young players. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. I don't think he even shows up. I think they they basically pay him to stay away. So that's the way that's going to go. So now LA Clippers have Bones Hyland, Eric Gordon, Mason Plumlee, and Russell Westbrook. Russell Westbrook, here, let me say this about him. He got a bum rap in LA with the Lakers. He just did. And I don't put it all on Russell Westbrook. I put it on LeBron as well, because LeBron had to know. You're bringing in a ball-dominant point guard. That means you're going to have to adjust your game in order to accommodate Russ. And he didn't do that. He didn't do that. He tried to do that, but he just didn't do that. So, I can point to many players late in their careers who made the adjustment to acquiesce to the players around them, to accentuate their strengths in order to, win and achieve. And, say what you want about Russell, but Russell plays one kind of way. He plays full steam, handling the ball. He's going to make a bunch of turnovers. We know that. He's not going to shoot it the greatest from the field, especially from deep. That's who Russell is. So you bring him in knowing this, and you don't cater to knowing that. So, so I put that on, the Lakers organization, LeBron as well, because you don't make a deal like this without LeBron signing off to it. So, and then to have a reporter come out, on the heels of this and call Russell Westbrook a vampire, that's hitting below the belt. And I agree with Russell Westbrook's wife 100% when she came out and on the attack, protecting her husband. So it's a lot of things you can call a guy. That is, you kind of hitting below the belt with that. What can you say? Russell's a guy who's, he's very much, he'll root for his teammates. He's a good teammate. Let us not get it twisted. They want to create this narrative that he isn't, but he is. And he's a guy who goes into the community and he does all the work in the community. The fans love him, so forth. So let's not go there. And I'm kind of secretly rooting for him to do well with the Clippers. We'll see what happens. It's been rocky so far, but we'll see how it goes once everybody gets accustomed to one another and so forth. But you need those two guys, Paul George and Kawhi Leonard, to lead the way. They have to lead the way, especially with the new additions coming in. So they have to be leaders and get these guys ready to go. So we'll see what happens there. All right, so those are kind of the big deals. These are deals that kind of flew under the radar, but I feel they're pretty important as well. Josh Hart to the Knicks. Josh Hart to the Knicks is like a match made in heaven. He goes to the Knicks coming from Portland in exchange for Cam Reddish, a few other guys who weren't even playing. Our city, Kono, and then Mikal, European player there, as well as a 2023 first round pick. But guys, it's top 14 protected, so it will translate. If the pick doesn't translate, it turns into 4 second round picks, which I'll take any day for what Josh Hart has given them thus far. Josh Hart is a Tom Thibodeau type player. He's hard-nosed. He gets in there. He gets in guys' shorts. And he's a perfect fit for that second unit, running with Emmanuel Quickly, with Isaiah Hartenstein. So you got heart to heart right there. But, so he's been a godsend for the Knicks. And right now, they're one of the hottest teams in the league right now. They finished the month 9-2. So, yeah. So, definitely a very under the radar move that a lot of people poo-pooed, especially the Cam Reddish lovers who were, among the Knicks fans were up in arms over this deal, but they're pretty quiet right now. So let's just say that. So nonetheless, Josh Hart, a very outstanding move that can pay off dividends down the road. So kudos to the Knicks and Leon Rose for making that move. Jakob Poetl from the San Antonio Spurs, the center there, going to Toronto for Kim Birch, a protected 2024 first round pick and 2 future second round picks. So this is a deal that flew under the radar too, and it's actually helping Toronto because they now have a legit center they can put in the middle. Now you can free up Pascal Siakam to go back to his natural power forward position where he can wreak havoc there. So you just got to get that backcourt up to snuff. You got to get the backcourt playing well, and actually they made some additions as well, getting Willie Barton from the Washington Wizards. So you just brought him in to kind of be a help in that backcourt. So Toronto's making moves, guys. They're making moves. They're among the play-in teams right now. They could be dangerous come playoff times. So this is a move I felt fell under the radar. Another one, Josh Richardson from the Spurs. Spurs making a few moves, guys, and loading up a lot of picks too. So Josh Richardson going to the New Orleans Pelicans for Devontae Graham and 4 second-round picks. So, again, San Antonio, listen, they're in the Vincent Wembanyama. They're in the Vincent Wembanyama business right now. They're trying to load up to get a shot at getting him in the draft. So, but Josh Richardson, a fine addition to that Pelican squad. He's like a Swiss Army knife. He could do a lot of things. He can take the burden off of C.J. McCollum in the backcourt. So, fine addition for New Orleans Pelicans. But again, a team that's playing without Zion Williamson. Right now, Brandon Ingram is getting his legs back under him. He's looking good now. So, New Orleans Pelicans could be a problem come playoff time. So, very good move here that flew under the radar. Thomas Bryant, coming from the Lakers, another move that the Lakers made. Since they got Obama now, Thomas Bryant is expendable, so they sent him to Denver for Davon Reed and 3 second-round picks the Lakers receive in return. So Thomas Bryant is a guy who can spell the Joker over there, Nikolai Jokic. So definitely could give the Nuggets quality minutes off the bench, and then on the games where Jokic doesn't play, you got a guy you can put in the middle there who could be very serviceable. That's for sure. So that's a move I felt fell on the radar, and they too added pieces via the buyout. Reggie Jackson coming in, I think, is a outstanding addition there. He's a guy because he gets bought out from the Clippers, so he's a guy who can spell Jamal Murray over there. So very good addition there. So Denver not standing pat, guys. They're going for it. So these are solid moves here that, to me, fly under the radar. And then a last move. James Wiseman, he gets dealt to Denver. Gary Payton II comes back to Golden State to play for the Warriors. He's hurt right now. He'll be back shortly. Saddiq Bey, he goes to Atlanta, and then Kevin Knox and 5 second-round picks going to Portland. Oh, Portland made another move as well. They flipped Mikal. They flipped him and sent him to Philly in exchange for Matisse Thybulle. So they kind of get a guy back who plays a lot like Josh Hart in Thybulle. So pretty solid move for Portland there. But Wiseman, the promising center who was picked second in the draft. Well, draft a few years back. He's dealt. So Golden State pretty much, the handwriting was kind of on the wall when they sent him down to the G League. So James Wiseman getting a second chance with the Detroit Pistons. So, all right, and then a few buyouts. Kevin Love gets bought out by the Cavaliers. He goes to Miami, where he can help in that front court there, kind of ease the burden off of Bam Adebayo. So we'll see how that fit works. I talked about Russell Westbrook. I talked about Reggie Jackson, Willie Barton as well. Danny Green gets bought out. He goes back to the team that drafted him, the Cavaliers. So he'll be kind of a help off that bench there. Dwayne Dedman, he gets bought out by Miami. The problems he was having with Miami over there. So he gets bought out. He goes to Philly, where he can be the guy behind. Well, he's kind of behind two centers now, Embiid and Paul Reed, who's playing well. So that's your trade deadline moves. That's the second bit of news. Third, we'll talk about the All-Star break and all that went on there. We'll talk about that briefly, if possible. So, the All-Star weekend. Let's talk about All-Star weekend. That's what I meant to say. So, All-Star weekend. We'll go through all the events right quick, and then we'll just talk. Yeah, so we'll ride it out. Friday, I don't talk about the celebrity game. No big deal. The Rising Stars Challenge, and they're doing this new format, the second year in a row, where there's a pool of 28 players, seven players for each team, and it's picked from a pool of 21 NBA players, a combination of rookie and sophomores, and then you have 7 players from the G League, so that equates to 28. So they get drafted and so forth. So, and there was a team Paul for Paul Gasol, team Deron Williams, team Joakim Noah, and then team Jason. I want to say Jason Williams. So so that was your 4 teams there. Team Paul beats Team Deron 40-25. They're led by Jose Alvarado with 13 points. And then Team Joakim beats Team Jason 40-32. And Quentin Grimes, he leads the way there with 13 points. And then in the finals, Team Paul beats Team Joakim 25-20. And in that game, actually Ben Mathurin leads the way with 7 points. Quentin Grimes scores 14 of the 20 points. So in this series here, Quentin Grimes, 27 points in 2 games, 10 for 14 from the field, 6 for 10 from 3, and 5 steals. So Quentin Grimes of the Knicks really showing out in this showcase here. But Jose Alvarado wins MVP because he hits the clutch 3-point basket to put them ahead for good and to win that series there. So Rising Stars Challenge, yeah, this is an interesting way to do it. I have no beef with that. So, it is what it is. They did it the other way with just rookies versus sophomores. Then they did a mix of rookies, sophomores. Then they did U.S. versus World. They've toyed around with the concept over the years, but it seems like this one is a pretty nice one here. So I can't knock this process here. So and seem like the guys are there playing. So that's a good thing. So with that said, let's move on to Saturday. Saturday, you got the 3 contests that take place: the skills challenge, the 3-point shootout, and then the dunk contest. So, skills challenge. To me, this is the thing that I think they tinkered with too much. Now the skills challenge it used to be singular players. Now it's done by teams, and this is the second year in a row you have a team. Antetokounmpo, you got Antetokounmpo and his 3 brothers, but this time Giannis doesn't even compete. He sends in Drew Holiday to compete in his place. So and then you got Team Jazz, consisting of Jordan Clarkson, Walker Kessler, and Colin Sexton. So they compete. And then you got Team Rookies: Paolo Banchero, Jaden Ivey, and Jabari Smith. So with that said, when the dust settles, the Jazz ends up winning the challenge. So, and this is the second year in a row that a team, a group of actual team members won the challenge. So last year it was Team Cavs. This year it's Team Jazz. Fitting that both teams were representatives of the cities where the All-Star game played. So kudos there. And I guess they tinkered with this because over the past 6 years, prior to this change in the system, you had big men winning this award that usually winning this contest that usually guards win. Because it's a skills challenge: dribbling, passing, shooting, so forth. So it used to be guards that dominated this, but in the past 6 years, it was big men. 5 of the 6 years. You had guys like Domantas Sabonis, Bam Adebayo, Jason Tatum. He's 6'8", so kind of big there. Kristaps Porzingis, and then Karl Anthony Towns winning this contest as well. So, and the only person to get in between that was Spencer Dinwiddie. So, nonetheless, I think the skills challenge, if it were me, I would change it back to the singular players, and you take it from there. So that's just me. 3-point shootout. 3-point shootout was, to me, I think this has become the marquee event. This has become the marquee event because you got guys there. The 3-point shot is so prevalent in the league now. It's really taken the game to another level in terms of scoring. So these are the participants. It was Tyrese Halliburton of the Indiana Pacers, Tyler Hero from the Miami Heat, Halliburton's teammate Buddy Hield, he was in it, Kevin Huerter, Dame Lillard, Lauri Markkanen for the Utah Jazz, Lillard of course for the Portland Trail Blazers. Julius Randle was a last-minute replacement for Anthony Simmons, who you would have had Dame's teammate in it from the Portland Trail Blazers, but I guess they want to pay a plane ticket on another guy, so they said, Julius Randle, you got a lot of threes, come on in the contest. And then Jason Tatum makes up the 8. And then in the final round, you have actually the 2 teammates from the Pacers, Halliburton and Hield, in it in the final round, but the winner was Dame Lillard, who ends up winning the 3-point contest. And kudos to Dame for doing that. So, to me, again, 3-point contest, to me, that's the marquee event in my eyes, at least. So, and then you have the dunk contest. The dunk contest, we need to rethink it, guys. We really need to rethink it here. Here's your participants. Kenyon Martin Jr. from the Houston Rockets, Jericho Sims of the New York Knicks, Trey Murphy III, the New Orleans Pelicans, and a guy named Mac McClung, who, oh, by the way, he was signed about 4 days prior by the Philadelphia 76ers. So he's a 6'2 guy. He only has... No. He was signed just prior to this, the naming of this event. So he gets included in. He only played 4 games in his entire NBA career. He's a G Leaguer, basically, and a YouTube sensation because of, his dunking ability. The kid can leap. He can jump. So nonetheless, your judges were Dominique Wilkins, Harold Miner, 2 guys who've been there, done that, won that. Karl Malone presence at this weekend was troubling, but I digress. Jamal Crawford, who I can't even remember being a dunker in the NBA. I know he can, shake you up off the dribble and lay you up, but dunker, yeah. And Lisa Leslie of the WNBA fame and international and so forth, who has dunked in a WNBA game. So I guess she has some credibility there. So nonetheless, so with that said, I watched the dunk contest. Yeah, we're gonna have to do something here, guys. Jericho Sims, I don't know what he was thinking. And I said it on social media. You got a guy in your locker room who won the contest. You could have got some tips from him. You could have did a bevy of things. You could have, did some dunks and dedicate them to big men like Sean Kemp, like Dwight Howard. But I wish I could have saw some more creativity. He's a guy who's very stoic in his nature, so it would have been nice to see a little more personality in that regard, because you need that to win this contest. So, but I digress. That's just me being a Knicks fan, me ranting in that regard. So, but nonetheless, Matt McClung, he wins the contest. So we need where we needed a guy from G League who just got signed to save this contest. And you heard all the TNT people raving about him, so forth. And, he's a star now and this and that. And, he'll go right back to the end of the Philadelphia bench. You're not going to see him playing above Tyrese Maxey or anybody like that. Or, DeAnthony Milton. That's not happening, guys. So, Melton, I'm sorry, and Shake Milton, he's not playing above these guys, so forget it. So we need to find a way to get some bigger name guys in the contests. Whatever incentive you have to use it, but I think that's a way to save it. Even if you get retired players to say they're gonna put X amount of dollars behind a guy, whatever you have to do, but this game needs saving. This contest needs saving. So I digress. Let's move on to the Sunday game. Sunday's All-Star game, in which Team Giannis defeats Team LeBron 184 to, I believe it was 182, if I'm not mistaken. It was a close game. And in this game, Giannis plays exactly 20 seconds in this game, because remember, he had the wrist injury coming into this. So he scores on his first basket, pulls himself out the game, doesn't appear in the game again. So, and for Team LeBron plays 14 minutes, which is okay. 13 points he scores in 14 minutes. So I give LeBron that. He's 38 years old. He wants to save himself for the playoff run. So I grant you that. Even though he ends up getting hurt, but that's another story. But Giannis playing 20 seconds. Come on. Well, what are we doing here? So it ends up, I'll tell you top 3 players for each side. For Team Giannis, it's Jason Tatum, who scores a record 55 points. He does it on 22 of 31 shooting, 10 of 18 from 3, with 10 rebounds and 6 assists for the MVP award. So he gets it. So Donovan Mitchell, 40 points for him. He does it on 15 of 25 shooting, 8 of 17 from 3. He has 10 assists, 4 rebounds, 3 steals. And Damian Lillard, who actually hits the clinching basket for Team Giannis, 26 points. He drops 8 threes in this game, 4 assists, 3 rebounds, 3 steals. So, and for Team LeBron, Jaylen Brown, who played with a face mask, it was reports that he may not even play in this game. He ends up playing. So 35 points, 16 of 27 shooting. He did shoot a paltry 3 for 12 from 3, 14 rebounds, 5 assists, and 2 steals. And the highlight of this game was him and Tatum, both teammates going at it. That I enjoyed. That part of it I enjoyed. Kyrie Irving, 32 points for him, 14 of 21 shooting, 4 of 8 from 3, 15 assists for him in the game. So he was getting people involved, 6 rebounds. And Joel Embiid, 32 points, 14 of 19 from the field, 4 of 8 from 3, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. So a lot of people talk about the European players not really being a factor in this. Guys like Jokic, guys like Luka Doncic not being involved. So it's an all-star game, so certain guys are going to shine, certain aren't. I'm surprised Luka did not as well as I thought he would have did in this game, but we need to revamp the all-star game as well, guys. We need to do something. If you want to do USA versus the world, fine. I'm okay with that. I know they do it for the charities now, so there's some incentive there. Each of the quarters you can, win X amount of money for charities and so forth. I get that. But they have to do something where it's really meaningful to guys. Few guys missed it because of injury. That's going to happen. That's natural. I still say expand it to 15 players. Definitely expand it in that regard, especially if you're going to do this USA versus the world sort of thing. But yeah, so we got to figure out something to revamp this game where guys are in there, they're playing hard, they're caring, and we just didn't see that. So that's that bit of news. So 4 more items to cover. You know what? I'll cut it off here, and we'll cover the 4 items later because I want to go into depth on some of these. So, all right, guys. So that is it for this episode. And when I come back to you, we will cover the rest of the items, 4 more items. So we'll deal with that. So, all right, guys. So that's it. Again, you can always listen on All Things Basketball with GD.com. You'll hear it in the outro. Leave reviews there. Go on YouTube page. Like the videos. And comment if you like as well. Also on Apple Podcasts, you can catch us on there as well. All right, guys. So that's going to do it for me. And I'll talk to you on the next episode. All right. Take care. So, my peeps, if you like what you're listening to, you can go to my website, www.allthingsbasketballwithgd.com. You can also email me at thatsportsdudegd@gmail.com. To support this podcast, you can go to my PayPal, and that email is thatsportsdudegd@gmail.com. Also on my Anchor page, I have a support button there that you can also use to help the podcast. I'm on all the major platforms like Anchor, Spreaker, Google Podcasts, Amazon, SoundCloud, YouTube, Castbox, Radio Public, Podchaser, just to name a few. And also you can find me on social media, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Clubhouse, and Fanbase. So, once again, I thank you for listening and supporting this podcast. And take care and be safe.